Here's Captain Cool.
Hello and welcome in to a funky Friday here in No Man's Land. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman, Bailey Lowery.
Hey.
And I was about to say what a week it's been for sports, but honestly, what a day it's been and what a day it will be for sports as we look forward to a lot of the awesome stuff that's happening with either EA Sports and when they're coming out with their trailer right after our show, like always. And on top of that, of course, the news circling around Scotty Scheffler and that surprising news that we got this morning as we woke up to it popping up on our phones. But to start off the show, we want to get into a little bit of the Alabama Crimson Tide news. Of course, Alabama started their 3-game series against Auburn just yesterday. And on top of that, the NCAA tournament for softball is getting underway today as well. And to help us talk a little bit about that and more is one Mr. Drew DeArmond from Talkin' Ball, presented by McCurry Motors and Alumni Hall. Drew, how we doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. You know, it's been kind of a crazy show. We had Hayden Neighbors in studio and had a chance to hear from someone who's, you know, because we talked about all the Caleb Downses and the Caden Proctors and the high-profile guys that you get out of the transfer portal that get all this pub, but then you have guys like Hayden who has a degree. He's finishing it up, about to get it from Alabama, who, you know, has earned everything he got as a walk-on, made plays, had good enough film to get offers from Group of Five and then FCS schools. But then you also have to sift through those because all those offers, sometimes they appear and then disappear, and then things change day to day, hour to hour even, because all these, like you said, You'll be a guy that gets offered, but they'll offer 20 guys at your position and only end up taking 2 or 3. And so it comes down to your visits, you know, when they do their quick intel on you, your background. So doing things the right way like Hayden has done is huge. And he's getting now a chance to be on full scholarship at Nicholls State. He's almost 23 years old, but he's going to get a chance to, to play out his career, whether it be 1 year or 2 years. He has up to 2 years to play. So, and that will be his decision and choice because, again, he can pursue a master's degree. He wants to work in football. So a lot of it will come down to, you know, the kind of year he has at Nicholls. Does he enjoy the experience? Does he decide to come back for another year, or does he decide to move on to pursue an opportunity? But perhaps if he has some buzz to get a professional tryout, or does he just go into football? Does the connections he makes, because being in Thibodaux, Louisiana, and being a part of the Manning Passing Academy, that's huge.
Yeah.
You can make so many connections in football. Like we talked about it a little bit in our conversation with him, but you know, last summer he interned with the Baltimore Ravens and got a chance to look at their scouting department, how they do things, and they're one of the model organizations with how to build a football team. And so he got a chance to be behind the curtain there. He'll get a chance to be around the Manning Passing Academy this summer. He'll get a chance to continue to make connections, and then if he plays well. In other words, he'll have a lot of options, and I think he made a really good decision. And it was a winding ride, but he's earned everything he's got, and it's happy for him. Happy he's going to get a chance to play for Tim Rebow and those guys over in Thibodaux, and it's a good FCS program. And again, he'll be on some huge stages because his first game in a Nicholls State uniform will be at Louisiana Tech, and then at a place called Tyga Stadium in Baton Rouge for week 2. So he'll get a chance to play against LSU, and get a chance to prove himself. He made a lot of plays in practice at Alabama against some cats that you guys have already seen get drafted, like the Kool-Aid McKinstries of the world, and Kyrie Jacksons and people of that nature. So, it's awesome that he's getting a chance to. But it was pursued by a good FCS program that really has a need at his spot, and that's the key to the portal, man. To how you handle it, because as Hayden explained, some of these guys, like Alabama's bringing in guys like Geno Vandermark and people like that. I think they're depth. I think now they could potentially play, but I think the idea is you need depth. Then you have to sell a guy on that, and then injuries happen. And if you're Alabama and you're used to playing 14, 15 games a year, then you're going to need those guys like that. But if you're a Hayden Neighbors, though, and you have, made a lot of your plays behind the scenes, you want to go somewhere where you're getting on the field right away because the clock is ticking. You want to be a top 3 guy. You want to be a featured part of the offense. So I thought that was a neat conversation to have. And he's also a guy that had his career affected with COVID because when he came out of high school is when COVID hit. He was going to go to a prep school in South Carolina, and he was going to kind of extend his 5 years. He was not going to start his clock right away because, as he said, he was maturing a lot physically coming out of high school. But then he had to basically take the year off because everything got canceled. Yeah. And then, you end up going to Middle Tennessee, and then he had a winding road. Middle Tennessee, Samford, then Alabama, and now he's going to go to Nicholls State. So this is going to be really interesting, no question about that. And looking forward to the next chapter in his journey, and just wanted to bring that conversation to everybody on 97.7 The Zone because the transfer portal is a crazy place, man. And
true that.
And he got several offers, but it's just one of those things because if you see an offer on social media, it's not all the time that you're able to commit because he went on several visits and they were interested, but then you'll read the next day, Tulane's offered at this LSU wide receiver. All of a sudden it changes.
Yeah.
So, but he's getting a really good opportunity at Nicholls State, and I thought it was interesting to take a look behind the curtain there. And I think if he can put up some numbers and continue to make those connections, especially at the Manning Passing Academy, because they use all the Nicholls receivers to work with these. And these are these quarterbacks guys that they use at the Manning Passing Academy. This is the who's who of college, the collegiate guys that are coming back. And then a lot of times, it's the top high school guys too. This is where a lot of great players go to get better because of you're exposed to the Mannings, Peyton, Eli, Archie, and all the other counselors they have, and some of those are returning college stars. So it allows you to be around a lot of great football people.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And it is really cool to see the other story of a lot of these players in college football. The Haydens, of course. You do get to see a little bit of the behind the scenes of where it all happens for those players that are trying to make a name for themselves. And I think it's awesome that you get the experience with an Alabama squad. You go to Nicholls State, and you're able to kind of show out with that experience that he's had throughout his college career. It's definitely going to be a lot of fun to see where he goes from there. But kind of focusing on a little bit of the softball, the baseball, of course, whichever one you want to go down, because Alabama, of course, lost that game 1 to Auburn in a very close matchup, low scoring, all of that. But on top of that, there is going to be a little bit of college softball that's going down today. So just kind of take wherever you want to go.
No doubt. Kudos to Auburn. They won the first game last night.
Only their 7th conference win of the season too.
Well, they've won 3. They're on a 3-game winning streak. They lost the first one to Mizzou last week and won the last 2 to win that series on the road, and then won this game last night. So they are 1 win away from winning the series from Alabama. Greg Ferrone for the Tide pitched pretty well. It nearly gave him 6 innings. Only gave up 3 runs. But the bullpen was pretty decent for Alabama. I mean, they only gave up 4 runs total, 10 hits. I would have thought they would have had a little bit better day offensively against Auburn because Auburn struggled on the mound. But hey, it's each weekend can be a journey all its own. And Auburn is playing better baseball right now. They got a quality start. Their bullpen was solid last night. The key was Alabama didn't hit very well with runners in scoring positions, runners on base. Auburn got some big hits, and I thought it was key for Auburn to get off to a good start. Auburn never trailed. They led 2-0. Alabama cut it to 2-1. They extended it back to 3-1. Alabama cut it to 3-2, and then in the 8th they hit a home run. Yeah. And were threatening to add more. Alabama got out of that, with Aiden Moza, but the Tide fall 4-2 to Auburn. And need to win these next 2 games. But the only saving grace for Alabama was pretty much everybody in front of them lost that you needed to lose. They didn't lose any ground. Kentucky's basically 1 win away from at least tying for the SEC championship in the regular season. But if they get some help, and I don't know if they will, but if South Carolina can knock off Tennessee and Kentucky can win 1 more game, Kentucky's going to win this league outright in the regular season and be the 1 seed going into Hoover. And with that win last night in that crazy game, the 1-0 game, Texas A&M finally beating Arkansas that walk-off walk in extra innings. That gave another loss to Arkansas, their 9th, so they're 2 back of Kentucky. And your first 4, as far as the buys, is almost decided, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, Georgia's still in it, but I still think it's very likely going to be Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Texas A&M are going to get those buys. And then, like I said, Alabama's going to be on that drop-dead Tuesday. They still have a shot to be the 7th seed because, again, South Carolina lost, Vandy lost. Everybody in front of them that they needed to lose dropped a game. But if you're Alabama, you want to get things righted tonight. You need a good start from Zane Adams. You need to get this to Saturday where the series would be decided. Yeah. You need a quality outing tonight, and you need to get some things going offensively. Allsup is pitching for Auburn, so we'll see what happens there. But again, kudos to the Tigers. They completely outplayed Alabama last night. They played clean baseball. And Butch Thompson's crew. I said on the drive last night they were going to fight. I was like, I didn't really. It made me uneasy. People talking about a sweep, since the end of the series last week, and I was like, you're going on the road. That's going to be very difficult to do. Auburn is certainly not going to lay down for their rival because only way you might have seen that is if they were undergoing a coaching change. They're not. Butch Thompson's rock solid where he is and what he's done. For Auburn baseball in nearly a decade. So Alabama, this will be a big game tonight. You need to get this 13th win, solidify your spot. In Hoover, even though you're already there, but you still got a shot to be the 7th seed. And again, you're still not completely in the NCAA field. You need to win games. Their RPI is good. But again, Auburn is a team that is not going to make postseason. So you need to win this series, to me, and you need to be playing good baseball going into Hoover because you're going to be going into Hoover trying to again get to a regional and also increase your seed and then increase your place in the field. And I think right now Alabama would probably be a 3 seed. You're trying to get up to that 2 line. I think hosting is now, after that loss last night, is completely out the window. I don't see that. But you're trying to – ultimately, I think your ceiling is a high 2. And so if Alabama wants any kind of hope of doing that, it needs to start tonight. That game is tentatively – and I always say tentatively because of the weather. It's supposed to start at 6. We're supposed to carry it on 97.7 The Zone. But before that, we're supposed to, at 3:30, carry Alabama softball. Yes. We talked to Gray Robertson this morning, the color analyst. He had some very interesting insight into the way this Alabama team has played and tracking them. And I think the big key is, as he put it to us, Alabama has got to avoid the clusters. And what that is they've tended to let things snowball on them when things have gone bad. Like if they make errors, they make several. And they have a bad inning or two where they dig a hole. And you don't need to do that in this regional. You need to get off to a good start. Their pitching has actually been pretty strong. And they've got a nice 1-2 punch in the circle, but they need the key hits. But one of the big parts of their offense that's been out for half the season has been Marley Giles. She's, of course, from Chilton County, the sophomore catcher. She hurt her forearm and couldn't swing the bat, and then has been out of the lineup for a long time. She's probably their best power hitter and was getting off to a really strong start in conference play when she got injured, and they haven't had her in that 4th, 5th hole in the lineup. And this Alabama team especially is not as powerful as in the years past, so they need all hands on deck. She's going to be huge for this weekend. And the other interesting thing he said is even if Alabama goes in the losers bracket, he feels like they have the pitching to dig their way out. But in these situations, especially at home, you want to stay in the winners bracket. You want to put the pressure on your opponent to have to beat you twice going into, say, a Sunday, because Alabama will play one time on Friday, hopefully one time on Saturday. Then you come out of it on Sunday, and they got to beat you, whoever it is, whether it's Southeastern Louisiana, Clemson, UC Upstate. They got to beat you twice. That's tough to do on the road, especially with Alabama's fan support. But again, Patrick Murphy and crew, 14th seed, but all 13 SEC teams have made it. We'll see.
Crazy.
How if somebody can, I do think the Floridas and the Tennessees and some of those teams of that ilk, I think they have a chance to make deep runs. But I think after that, I don't know, how good. I think the SEC is. Gray made another good point. It's as balanced as it's ever been. And Alabama even did beat Tennessee in the last game, beat them 1-0. So they have beaten the Vols. They only played I don't think they played Florida this year, but I'd have to go back and check that. I need to check and see if they did. And matter of fact, I think they did actually. I think they lost 2 out of 3, but they did beat the Gators once. And like Gray pointed out, the thing is they didn't get swept, and their RPI was still really good. But in regional play, you need to stay in the winners bracket. I've always kind of thought that. And Patrick Murphy's record is unbelievable in regional play. He's only lost once and not advanced to the Super since they started the Super regional part of it. But again, we'll see. But Alabama today tentatively at 3:30 because we don't know. Hopefully that Southeastern Louisiana Clemson game won't go on forever. We'll have Gray and Tom Canterbury's call. But this is a big day for Alabama overall, trying to advance to the winners bracket in regional play against UC Upstate in softball, and then trying to put yourself in position to win a road series on Saturday at 2:00. With the Auburn Tigers this evening.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot of stuff to look forward to today, and you can listen to it all on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. But good stuff from Drew DeArmond. You can catch him over on Talking Ball 7 to 9 weekdays. But we got to hop into a break. When we come back, we're getting into a little bit of the news that really popped up on our headlines today, as well as, well, of course, the college football game is going to have a trailer. We got to talk a little bit about that as well. That's what's coming up here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandiman. At noon, it's the Tom Abraham Show, followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere. Rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road. What if I told you that Bigfoot is real and that he's making the best donuts you've ever had? Come see for yourself at Bigfoot's Little Donuts. Come in and order from over 50 flavors, all made hot and delicious. Ranked in the top 100 donut shops in the nation by Yelp. Bigfoot Little Donuts. Order in store or online at bigfootslittledonuts.com for pickup or delivery from Grub South or DoorDash. South Parkway, Huntsville, and County Line Road, Madison. Bigfoot's Little Donuts.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in the field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will be a persistent feature across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee through a good chunk of the afternoon, the evening, and then even as we head into the overnight. Temperatures are going to be on the lower end of the spectrum. Highs only climbing into the mid and upper 70s. We're dropping into the low and mid 60s as we head into the overnight. Scattered showers and thunderstorms stay in the forecast through a good majority of Saturday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. A couple of folks could see the lower 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hello and welcome back in to the Morning Blitz. John Abraham, Cap Cool, alongside the Bandiman, Bailey Lowery. And coming into this episode, a Funky Friday episode of the Morning Blitz, we got a lot of headlines to talk about. Some we didn't touch on yesterday, and then some that just came out this morning as we were arising from our soft, silky beds in the form of Scotty Scheffler getting arrested. Yes, the number one golfer in the PGA getting arrested this morning, and it was definitely a wild story because I first saw, this thing pop up on CBS, and then I saw it on ESPN, and I was really just not thinking. I was half like awake, Bandy, and then I kind of read the details, and I was like, what the heck's going on in Valhalla, I mean, are we having like a Vikings fighting and stuff like that, and he just got involved? Well, it actually came from a little bit of an incident where, of course, there was a fatal accident, including a bus, then it hit a pedestrian, and of course, that's a terrible story. Yeah. Thankfully enough, Scotty wasn't involved with that. But after the fact, whenever he was trying to get into the course, there was a lot of traffic, and apparently he was disobeying a little bit of those traffic laws, going probably around the cars, probably swerving a little bit back and forth. And then we finally got a little bit of the details on what he was charged for. And there was second-degree assault of a police officer. Okay. That's that's pretty big. I feel like that's a pretty big deal. Third-degree criminal mischief, all right? Reckless driving and disregarding traffic signals from an officer, and those are all according to, of course, multiple reports. Now, the craziest thing is, Bandy, was the mugshots we got to see, all right? Because usually you get a mugshot, the guy's wearing his shirt that he was wearing whenever the accident actually happened, and then, no. They got him all in the orange attire, all right, in the prisoner's garb, and they had him literally take a picture, and then they got him out of there pretty much as fast as possible because they finally found out that, hey, this is Scotty Scheffler. This is the guy that John's been talking about on the Morning Blitz for the last 3 months.
A lot of people put him in the PGA effect that Tom had yesterday.
That's what I'm saying.
Or 2 days ago.
And even Antonio Brown, I'm not going to say what he said on Twitter, but I can't say that. But no, he even said, like, now he's going to win this thing. He is for sure going to win. It's crazy to think. He wins, like, 2 tournaments in a row, ties for second, goes and wins 2 more, has a child in the middle of all of that. Then he gets arrested, and now he's back on the course. And just moments ago, of course, he was able to hit his first tee-off shot of the day.
We actually got the audio from that. Thank you, courtesy of one Steve Moulton.
Oh.
And next to play from Texas, Scotty Scheffler.
Actually, wait, just listen. Oh, he's like that. That sounded so good.
Yeah, he smacked that thing. It went a little bit right, all right? It went a little bit out of his reach, but the people were still cheering, even though the ball kind of landed in the crowd. They didn't mind it. It was still close to the pin and all that stuff. But we also have the audio from whenever he was getting taken away, Bandy. And we will get into the hotline here in a second because there's definitely a lot to talk about. But here's kind of what happened when he first got arrested with, I believe it was Jeff Darlington kind of responding to all of this in this video. So let's see if this thing can go. It's off of Twitter, so, we'll see how that goes.
Guys.
He says it like 1,000 times.
Back up. I'm back.
Scotty Scheffler getting taken away by 2 police officers. Allegedly, they didn't know that it was Scotty Scheffler, all right?
And allegedly, one of their names was Corey McElroy.
No way. No, that's not true.
What do we do? I'm staying back. Here's the thing.
Who are you? He's like, what is this dude? Definitely a crazy scene in Kentucky. It was probably the craziest thing Kentucky's seen kind of all year. But either way, let's hop into the hotlines, of course. Natty Dan is on with us. And Natty Dan, how you doing today, man?
Well, I'm doing a lot better than Scotty Scheffler, but I will say this. Let's all start with the fact that this is all you're going to hear. No matter if he wins it or not, that's all you're going to hear.
Oh, yeah.
Now, a couple things. First off, it was Officer McElroy that made the arrest.
Is it really?
So we all know that. All right.
You guys keep getting me. All right, maybe I'm gullible. I don't know.
No, it was Officer McElroy. And then, and his partner was Xander Shapley. Him.
Yeah, just kind of mysteriously disappeared after taking him in.
Yeah. But here's the deal. I heard after that, you get your one phone call.
Mm-hmm.
He called Donald Trump and asked him, how do I deal with all this negative pressure, publicity, wrongly arrested? And Donald Trump says, yeah, I got this. Don't worry about it. So Scotty should win this, and we need to thank Donald Trump because he's going to tell him how to, deal with all this, non-issue kind of thing.
Just write him
you
a
know
check.
What happened? He was the first one that went through the line. That's why he got busted.
Gosh.
And then the other golfers decided, well, I can't do what Scotty did. Scotty was just trying to make his seat time for crying out loud.
No, that's exactly what was happening. And of course, with a little bit of, what he's got going on in life, being the number one golfer, of course he's going to think that he's able to do that, and these police officers are going to realize, hey, this is Scotty Scheffler. This is the guy that's number one.
Yeah.
This guy, let him pass, but sometimes that's just not the case.
He's going to do fine because he's got a lot of support with a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
But in my closing, I'll take that arrest all day long what Scotty went through.
Yeah.
And McElroy's got a lot more to worry about because whatever he wins, he's got to give half away from now until the divorce is over.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, jeez.
You know what? You guys playing golf, you're playing these wonderful courses, the ball's teed up every time you hit a fairway and everything. Life is good unless you really doing well as a PGA Tour and you're not making that kind of money to sustain yourself.
Yeah.
The bottom line is this, fellas. I got and this is I'm going to do this kind of going connected to a famous coach that said he said basically, who's got it better than us? Nobody. So that's what Scotty does when he interviewed him. That's how he said, I took it from Jim. That's what he should be doing.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Peace out.
Have a good one, brother.
Good stuff, Natty Dan. Scotty Scheffler is now tied at 6th in the PGA Championship. He is 5 under. And definitely going to be focusing on him all day long. I wanted to get into a little bit of Harrison Butker's speech that he had, Bandy, but I don't think we have enough time for that, all right? Yeah. But I would like to hear people's opinions on it, and you will be able to call into the show. 256-5764.
97.7
is the number to call in because everybody's got a problem when a guy tries to stand up about his religion in front of a bunch of people that are also following said religion.
Yeah.
But you know what? If it's Colin Kaepernick taking a knee in front of an entire, thing, I'll forget about it. No, he's just, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. Either way, we got to hop into a break. When we come back, getting into a little bit of Alabama football, as well as talking about some of this college football game. That's going to have a trailer dropping right after our show wraps up. That's what's coming up here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandiman. At noon, it's the Tom Abraham Show. Followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere.
Think outside the box and kick back at Flow Supreme Air. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flow tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flow, think fun for everyone.
It is safe to say that over the past few years, I've gained quite the reputation for speaking my mind.
Yeah, he is.
I never envisioned myself nor wanted to have this sort of a platform, but God has given it to me, so I have no other choice but to embrace it. Tragically, so many priests revolve much of their happiness from the adulation they receive from their parishioners, and in searching for this, they let their guard down and become overly familiar. This undue familiarity will prove to be problematic every time, because as my teammate's girlfriend says, familiarity breeds contempt.
All right. Well, those are just some of the comments that Harrison Butker had to say at that speech that he had at a college that is, focused around Catholic, of course, teachings and all this stuff. It's an interesting story that we got going on, and people are going bonkers about this.
There's
online.
a whole petition out there to get him kicked out of a league.
It's over like 30,000, maybe 40,000 people now signing that petition, and this is the similar stuff we've seen in the past. And you could make the argument he shouldn't be telling this to a bunch of college students. And on top of that, those were probably the easiest of his quotes to kind of have go over the airways and people not get offended, because he did bring up how women and their position and all that stuff. Say what you will, all right? He definitely should not be speaking for the women out there, all right?
Yeah.
He wasn't meaning every single woman. He was meaning a majority of women, which I don't even think that's really getting along well with the women's out there. But talking about how they, are homemakers, that's where they probably belong. I don't agree with any of this. This is all what he says, all right? This is what he says. Don't come after me. And how a man is supposed to obviously take care of that family with that support of the wife at home, taking care of the children, the house, and all of that stuff. So people are really questioning why he had to say it. This man is no stranger to talking about these types of sensitive subjects. But again, if you are going to dog this man for what he says to a bunch of Catholics at a Catholic school,
as a Catholic himself, then you also have to hold other people accountable for doing what they've done in the past that we've kind of just forgotten about. Because, No, I got one question.
What?
Where was the petition for Ray Rice?
Yeah. Where was the Ray Lewis even? I mean,
supposed
murderer. I mean, come on now.
I mean, hey, people hated Kaepernick when he was kneeling for the flag. Where was the petition for him?
Yeah.
And I hate to bring up one of your quarterbacks, but I mean, what about Deshaun Watson? Where was the petition for him?
There might have been a petition or two about that.
I didn't see a petition.
I think there might have been one or two of them.
Might have been, but I mean, where is the reaction to NFL players who have actually put their hands on women and been violent?
Supposedly.
Allegedly.
Some of them for sure, but some of them supposedly.
Allegedly. Some of them for sure, some of them allegedly. But where's the petition been, and where's been the outcry for them to get kicked out of a league compared to how much vitriol is coming at this guy?
It's been very 50-50 right now, all right? You got some people supporting this dude. Of course, he's won, a couple of Super Bowls now with the Chiefs. But then there's also been the other people that have really been against him, and that's what we've seen a lot of. And, of course, he shouldn't be speaking for women. He shouldn't be speaking. Either way, he has the freedom to speak. They wanted him. This college wanted him to speak to the people, of course, at the Benedictine College. So, I mean, he was throwing the stuff at the kids that, they probably, don't need to hear, but it's good to get that perspective because, again, as a Catholic, you follow these same types of rules and all this stuff that, really fall into place. You don't want to get off track. If you are in that religion, of course, it's a whole sticky situation that's going down with Harrison Butker. Do I think he should be out of the league? No. Everybody should have the freedom to speak their mind, especially if the college invites him to speak to these students before, of course, graduation. But definitely want to hear your guys' opinions on that, as well as on the college football game that we hyped up for the trailer, or not the trailer, but the cover athletes yesterday. That was underwhelming as hell, all right?
It was incredibly underwhelming.
But that's not what we really cared about. We already knew that, we were going to get these covers, there was going to be these few players and all this stuff. It already came out beforehand. But we did get some more information on what you will be getting with some of these different versions of the game. The deluxe edition, of course, you'll get 3-day early access. You'll get 4,600 college football points, which is the first time we've heard really what these points are and what their name is. And this is, of course, going to go towards the Ultimate Team that EA wants to throw into it. And then there's also the MVP bundle, which is actually one hell of a deal, Bandy. I have to admit.
I'll give it to EA for this deal. This is probably the best bundle they've ever released.
Oh, for sure.
Because what you're going to be getting with the MVP bundle, you're going to be getting the deluxe editions of both College Football 25 and Madden 25.
Huge.
Yeah, that is, which for $150 sounds like a lot on paper.
Mm-hmm.
But deluxe editions for these games are going at like $90 a piece.
Yeah, well, actually, $100 a piece. So you get them at $100 a piece. You're actually saving $50, all right? At the end of the day, you're saving $50 to get 2 deluxe editions for a game that you are going to play all the time, even though you say Madden's dead. You're still going to play at least one of them all the time, and that's going to be me playing college football.
You know what's going to be sad, though?
What?
Because this is called Madden 25. Some kid's going to be sad on Christmas when her they ask for Madden 25. Their grandma's coming in thinking they just made the best purchase of their life. They're going to win Christmas, and it's the old Madden 25.
And they ask, why is Adrian Peterson on the cover? Why? He hasn't been in the league for a few years, and he definitely hasn't been playing for the Vikings for a while. So I want to know this much first.
Wasn't that like one of the worst Maddens too?
It was after some of the downfall. It was Madden 14. That's what it was. It came after Madden 13, which Madden 13 a lot of people think was one of the bad Maddens. It was the first, of course, of the next gen consoles back in 2012. So it was the first game on Xbox One, but it was also sharing, the Xbox 360 version, and then of course 14 came out, and it kind of threw everything through a loop. Everybody was confused about some stuff. It was not a good game though. But what else we get is after that number hit 0, and me and Bandy were waiting for that page to refresh. But when it finally did refresh, we did see something that has got us excited for today.
Yes.
And that is a release trailer for this game.
The official reveal trailer. We're going to be seeing gameplay. We're actually going to be seeing what it's going to be looking like in motion, what features are going to be coming. Oh, this is the trailer we've been waiting for.
Give us the mascot games, please.
Yeah, give us mascot games. Like, that is a given. You have to put the mascots in. I mean, with the way they look great.
Yeah, and they're putting an emphasis on these mascots. I mean, the first screenshot we got to see was of the Buckeye from Ohio State. Yep. So if you're going to show us all of these mascots before even showing us some of these players, there's definitely got to be some hint towards a little bit of the mascot game coming back, because I want to do backflips over people. I want to juke people out and have them break their ankles and fly away from us. Yep. I want that stuff. I want to play against the Stanford trees.
What?
That's what I really want to do, and put 50 up on them.
Hey, some takes we've been seeing, though, online have been Ultimate Team's going to ruin this game, and then they're putting so much focus on Ultimate Team, and then people clapping back saying, well, Ultimate Team was in NCAA 14. What's the big deal?
No.
Ultimate Team is not the same entity it was 10 years ago.
Nope.
It was a side mode. It was just kind of enjoyable card collecting mode back in 14, and then even like the early 2K and Madden games with like 15 and 16.
Yeah.
It is now completely evolved into EA's #1 cash cow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, FIFA Ultimate Team just makes them over $1 billion a year.
Yeah. And that's not
just with FIFA.
It's not an exaggeration.
Yeah, just with FIFA and Madden is right there behind them.
It's going to be interesting how they do it. They're giving us a lot of the modes that we want, though, with single player. So that's the stuff that I really am looking forward to. Am I going to touch Ultimate Team? I might open it up. I might see how it goes. I might get a few packs and see how that all plays out. But I don't think I'm going to be spending any money on that. At least that's what I say now.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to play it.
Yeah, and you'll have to come over to my house to play.
Yeah, I don't have an Xbox Series S.
Yeah.
I don't have a PlayStation 5, and there's been no news if whether or not a version is going to be coming to PC or not.
Bandy, I don't think it's coming out on the PC.
It needs to.
It's the sad thing.
And it needs to.
I know. You might just have
That's going to make him so much money.
You might just have to get an Xbox Series S.
And the mods. Like, you can mod in your own custom jerseys.
Yeah.
Like, just put in your old, certain throwbacks. Even hell, you could probably mod in old players.
We've seen a lot of cool mods come to Madden, and it would be super, super cool to see it come to a college football game. But I can see why they wouldn't want to do that right off the bat, already having problems with all this stuff. Because, I mean, you'd be able to add in a guy like Arch Manning to this game. You're not supposed to be able to add a guy like Arch Manning to this game because he didn't opt in. He's actually one of the few players that was like, no, I don't want to be in this game.
Hey, I see that as no different than when we were on NCAA 14 and 13, having to go like team by team and put in the names of the players.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to allow it this year, or they're going to try to stop us. But as many gaming fans know, and many people who play video games know, that we will do everything we can to try and either break the game or make the game exactly how we want it to be. I mean, Bandy, you've told me enough stories.
Yeah.
Either way, you guys are able to join into the show, 256-5764.
97.7.
And we're going to finish it out as we go into the final segment here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandiman. At noon, it's the Tom Abraham Show, followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere.
One, two, three. Optima Tax Relief is A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-627-7754. 800-627-7754. 800-627-7754.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at 5. Bingo every Monday night too starting at 7. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
Hello and welcome back in to the show, to the Morning Blitz, presented by the wonderful people over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com to fill out your free quote today. And remember that Fleming always shows up. Now, before we get out of this show and watch this awesome trailer, Bandy, that is coming out literally 7 minutes from now.
I'm on the premiere on the YouTube space, and it is filled. The live chat is going crazy.
We are very excited for that, but we're also very excited about Alabama football, of course, coming back in the span of like 3 or 4 months. Cannot wait for it, but I want to talk about this schedule that they got for 2024. And I will say, similar to other teams that we talked about prior to them, of course, the Georgias, the Texas teams, and all that stuff, Alabama's actually set up for a pretty good season. Of course, with Kalen DeBoer at the helm, Jalen Milroe going into yet another year as the starting quarterback and adding on these wide receivers. But they're going to start off the season August 31st against Western Kentucky. This will be a good little win. And then September 7th, they're going to play against South Florida, which we all know we're a little worried about this team, more than we should be. But I think Alabama's going to be fine with that. They're going to get the win. They're going to go to Wisconsin to play up against this squad over in the Big Ten. They're going to get a win against Wisconsin. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be a fun matchup to watch, though, as these teams do not play that much.
Yeah.
Then, September 28th, week 4, they're playing up against the Georgia squad that doesn't look to be too bad, not at all. And this is the first time we've seen them play in the regular season matchup, I think since 2009. Something ridiculous like that, because, of course, Georgia and Alabama have just been playing in the championship game. And who knows, they might be able to play in the championship game this year as well. But because, of course, the divisions are out now. So there's no divisions. It's going to be the first and the second team. Which one of those squads in the SEC are going to make it? Yep. I do think this is the one game that Alabama may lose. All right? But you look at the rest of the season, you get Vanderbilt after them. You're going to Nashville to play up against the Commodores. You're going to win that game. You're going to win against South Carolina. And then you have to go to Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, play against the Tennessee team that, yes, isn't going to look too bad. They are going to be a powerhouse. But they got a young quarterback in Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah, a lot of questions.
And there's a lot of questions around him. Is he going to be a stud in his first year starting for the squad? Or is he going to kind of have that sophomore slump even though he didn't really play last year? I mean, he got one game against Iowa and he was able to destroy that squad that has literally no offense at all and seemingly no defense in that game as well. But it's another 50-50 where you're thinking to yourself, can Alabama win? You're going to Neyland Stadium. I'm going to say right now, my odds of them winning are a little less than 50% just because they're going to Neyland Stadium. And we all know what happened the last time Alabama had to play there. It was a loss. And I think that's probably going to happen for Kalen DeBoer. Now, it's not for sure. We don't know exactly.
Yeah, we'll know more about this Tennessee team. I mean, hey, once we actually get to that October 19th day, I mean, we'll have plenty of time to see how Nico's settled into this offense and how this Tennessee squad's going to be looking after actually losing a good amount of pieces from last year.
Yeah, and we will get into how Tennessee's going to be playing in their season as well when we get into them next week or the week after that, whenever we do get to them. But it is that game that I think is going to really push Alabama, and I think Nico's going to be kind of settled in by that time to where he understands his offense, him and Josh Heupel doing great things with that squad. It's up in the air, and I would love to hear your guys' opinions on it. But, of course, the show's about to end, so I got to go on with it.
Missouri, though.
Missouri is another really tough game. And thankfully enough, they're playing at Bryant-Denny Stadium, so you're going to be able to have that home field advantage. I think Alabama's going to win this game. Then you get an LSU team that people are going crazy about. They think this squad's going to be amazing. Guys, their quarterback is Garrett Nussmeier, all right? This guy, he's been with LSU his whole career in college. He's a junior, and he hasn't had too much experience actually starting for this squad. I think Alabama's going to be set up. Even if they lose that game to Tennessee, I think they're going to be set up with an amazing opportunity to get back into the playoff field by not just winning against LSU, but winning against Missouri, Mercer, Oklahoma, as well as Auburn to finish out the season with just 2 losses on their schedule. And I think they're going to be set up for a playoff run. Now, if they're able to beat Tennessee, then they're going above and beyond. That Georgia competition is going to be difficult. We can all say that. And I would love to say that Alabama's going to go undefeated in their first season. But again, guys, I'm a realist. I like to look at all of the options we got. And if you want to hate on me for it, feel free. But I'm just saying, this is the stuff that happens.
But I got a little surprise. So because the trailer is going to be dropping at 9:55.
Okay.
And our music doesn't kick in until 9:55:54.
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to be having the trailer going, to close out this show, on the stream as we're 1 minute away from the official reveal of College Football 25.
Am I going to come over there and watch it with you? Or
Yeah,
what's going on?
I mean, you can pull it up on the show. I'm going to have it ready for everybody to see over at WZZN TV on YouTube and on Twitter at 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Very nice. And make sure while you're over there, definitely subscribe for all of the sports talk action you need to keep a hold of here in North Alabama. Of course, talking ball, you get the Morning Blitz, you get the Tom Abraham Show, and of course, you're going to get your Paul Feinbeins, you're going to get your Chuck Olivers, but to finish it all out, you also get the Drive with Wes and Steve. And on top of that, of course, all of the Alabama baseball, softball you guys can consume. Atlanta baseball, you get Atlanta Falcons football. I mean, it just continuously is a party here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And on top of that, Talk Radio WZZN. Make sure you get the apps over on Apple and Android phones. Bandy?
You about ended that perfectly because, hey, 9:55 has hit. Premiere will begin shortly. We are just waiting for them to start this trailer. A lot of high hopes for this game, man.
I have a lot of high hopes. It's the only game I want to play going into 2025.
It's a lot of high hopes.
Yeah.
Very high expectations.
Very high. I mean, you don't come out with a game since 2014, 2013, if we're being real.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of people.
What? They hit us with a timer.
Of course they did.
I'm taking it off the stream.
Get it out of there. Get it out of there. Everybody will get to see that. That's kind of what happened yesterday. What did we expect, Bandy? I was trying to do a Snapchat, one of those snappy chats. And we were looking at the timer go from 10 to nothing, and then it went to 0, and we couldn't even refresh the page. Gosh.
It's like Premiere's going to start soon. Then we got to wait another 2 minutes. Come on.
Either way, look forward to some NBA basketball tonight as well as the playoffs continue on. We got a lot of fun stuff going down. I don't even know if there's a matchup today. Either way.
The Knicks play the Pacers today.
Oh, yeah, that is right. Knicks.
They're up 3-2.
Yeah, they can finish off that series, and I'm going to definitely watch that one, as well as the Bruins and the Panthers and the Stars and the Avalanche over in the NHL scene. Both teams trailing 3-2, and I want the Bruins to tie things up, take it to Game 7, and beat the Panthers, even though it will be in Florida, so that's going to be a tough test to ask. Either way, it's been a fun week. It's been a fun Friday here with you, Bandyman, and all the listeners we got. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, and keep it with us here on 97.7 for all the sports talk you need to know here in North Alabama. For me and the Bandyman, we'll see you guys next Monday from Atlanta. That's right. We'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, everybody.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford.